Hey everybody, it's Crystals here, and today we got another deck list for everybody, and it is probably the worst waifu deck you could possibly go to. But with that in mind, we are bringing today Harpies. Harpy is a very old old card I should say, that came out way back in the day in like 2000, like 2004. Very old card. Harpy Lady has been around for a very long time, but sorry about that. Sorry, my voice there. So Harpy Lady is a very old card that's gotten support and kind of loved through the Konami over the years, and so this is gonna be my deck list. So one little thing real quick: Harpy Lady is not a good deck. I was able to grind out and get out of gold with it and get into platinum, which is nice, but it was a struggle. Not really worth running around. Opinion. If you really like them, if you just want to have a gimmick deck, for fun, then this is definitely a fun one to have. But there are better decks out there. So with that in mind, let's go do the card by card. So we got 3 Harpy Ladies. Harpy Lady is a vanilla level 4 monster. We run 3 of them, and I'll explain why later. We got 1 Despot 001. This is a Garnet. You really don't want to draw it. You want to have it in a deck at all times. We got 3 Ash Blossom for hand traps. We got 1 Barrier statue with Stormwinds. When this card's on the field, neither player can special summon monsters except wind monsters, which doesn't really affect you because that's all you got is wind monsters. This is a really good card, and it is actually really easy to bring out in this deck. So yeah, why not run it? Then we got 2 Harpy Lady Queen. This card's name becomes Harpy Lady while on the field or in the graveyard. You could discard this card to the graveyard, add 1 Harpies Later Hunting Ground from your deck to your hand. So we're really just using it as another name, and it's level 4, 1900 beat sick. Its effect to search out, Harpies Hunting Ground is good, but this card isn't the greatest, and it's a mandatory effect. I'll explain that in a bit. So like I said, I think running 2 of this is just fine. Then we got 3 Harpy Channeler. This card is amazing. It really does everything for the deck. So you can discard 1 Harpy card, special summon 1 Harpy monster from your deck in defense position, except Channeler. You can only use this effect of Channeler once per turn. While you control a dragon monster, this card's level becomes 7. This card name becomes Harpy Lady while in the field and or graveyard. It's amazing. If it's on the field, you can easily discard any of your Harpy cards. And to get out, Harpy Lady to your side of the field, or any of the Harpy Ladies that you need at that present moment. From Harpist, the Perfumer, the Queen. It does everything from the deck. It's so fucking good. Definitely worth running 3 of them. It's only bad part, it's an ultra rare. So, this isn't that expensive. I mean, it is kind of an expensive deck. But like I said, this is a really good card. Definitely worth running 3. Then we got 3 Harpist. This card's name becomes Harpy Lady while in the field or graveyard. You can only use each of these effects of Harpy Harpist once per turn. When this card is normal summon, you can target 1 other winged beast monster you control and 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Return them to the hands. So this is not the destruction effect. This is just a straight bounce. So any card that's immune to the destruction, you can still bounce that card with this, as long though you can target it. During the end phase, if this card's in the graveyard because it was set there this turn, you could add 1 level 4 lower winged beast monster with 15 or less attack from your deck to your hands. And that searches out your whole deck basically. This card's really good. Both effects, actually do, come up quite often. So we got 3 Harpy Perfumer. This card name becomes Harpy Lady while in the field or graveyard. If this card is normal or special summon, you could add 1 spell or trap card from your hand that specifically lists Harpy Lady Sisters in its text. If you control a level 5 or higher Harpy Lady monster to activate this effect, you could also add a second card with a different name from the first. You can only control 1 Harpy Premier once per turn. This card is amazing. You can search out almost every spell and trap in the deck. You know what I mean? So like your big one is Alga Econist, but you could also search out Harpy's Feather Rest. You could search out what else? I think that was it. Those 2, right? I might be wrong, but you could search out quite a bit with it. It's a really good card, definitely worth running. Then we got 2 Oracle. This card, just like all of them, becomes Harpy Lady on the field or graveyard. And you can only use each of these effects once per turn. First one, if you control a level 5 or higher Harpy monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Or, if this card is no more special summon, you can add one spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand that specifically lists the Harpy Later Sisters in its text in phase of this turn. And this is a great way to recycle your Elegant Econist. That way you can keep specialing out Harpy Ladies from your deck and or your hand. So it's a really good card. Then, talking about our spells, we got 2 Elegant Econist. You can run 3 of this if you want to, but I just found that I was kind of breaking on them, so I cut them down to 2. If Harpy Lady is on your field, you can special summon 1 Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady Sisters from your hand or deck. It's amazing. If you could have Harpy Lady and all your cards are named a Harpy Lady, you could just special summon another one, just straight up. So you get 2 cards out real easily that way. We got 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Monster Reborn. We got 3 Unexpected Die. That's why we could special summon our Harpy Ladies from our deck if we control our monsters. We got 1 Rest. You can target 3 Harpy Lady and or Harpy Lady Sisters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, then draw 1 card. If you control a level 5 or higher Harpy monster, when you activate this effect, draw 2 cards instead. So it's a nice little recycle effect, and you can draw cards afterwards. We got 3 Lightning Storm for kind of going second, you know, back row hate or monster removal. Really good card. I like to run 3. We got 1 Harpies Hunting Ground. So all winged beast monsters gain 200 attack and defense. If any Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady Sisters is normal special summon, the player who conducted the summon targets 1 spell / trap on the field. That player destroys that target. And by the way, that is a mandatory effect. So if your opponent has no spells and traps, but if you do and you summon a Harpy Lady, you have to destroy one of your own spells and traps. Yeah, it's not optional. It is a mandatory effect. I don't really run of it. It's not the greatest, but you gotta run what you gotta run. We got 3 Heretic Sign. When this card is activated, add 1 Elegant Econist from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Then in phase, if this card's in your graveyard because it was sit there from your hand or field this turn, add up to 3 Harpy cards of different names from each of your deck to your hand. It's a really great card. It's a great way to search out Elegant Econist, which could then special summon more Harpies from your deck. I really love this card. It has saved my ass multiple times. We got 2 Called by the Grave, back row hate. Then last but not least, we got 2 Harpies Featherstorm. If you control a winged beast monster until the end of this turn, negate any monster effect your opponent activates. If you control a Harpy monster, you can activate this card from your hand. If this card is in its owner's spell and trap zone is destroyed by opponent's card effect, you could add 1 Harpy's Feather Duster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. It's just a straight negate. It's a straight monster negate. And the fact that you can activate it from your hand, this makes it so good. It has a secondary effect where you can search out Harpy's Feather Duster. It doesn't come up that often, but that first effect really does. And that's all for the main deck. For our side deck here, for our extra deck, we got 2 Cyber / Harpy Ladies. If this card is synchro summon, you can treat 1 Harpy monster you control as a tuner. This card name becomes Harpy Lady while in the field or graveyard. When a spell, trap card, or effect is activated, except during the damage step, you can target 1 monster on the opponent's your opponent controls or 1 Harpy monster you control and return it to the hand. So it's amazing. It's a bounce effect, not a destruction effect. It gets over a lot of monsters. It's not the best, but yet again, it's super easy to get out in this deck, and I really do like it. We got 1 Baron to Floor. It's an Omni negate and once per turn pop. Definitely worth running. We got 1 Lightning Shaduri. When this card is Exceed Summon, target 1 set card your opponent controls. Return that target to the bottom of the deck. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Exceed material from this card. Then target 1 face-up card your opponent controls. Return that target to the top of the deck. It's a really good bounce, and surprisingly, it actually does kind of save my ass quite a bit. We got 1 Ice Beast. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Exceed material from this card. Negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls as possible. And if you do, this card gains 300 attack for each face-up card currently on the field, except this card. These changes last until your next standby phase. It's a good monster negate, but yet again, with a lot of Omni negates and stuff going around, you can't get this effect off all the time, but when you can get off, you basically win the game. We got 1 Harpy's Pet Phantasmium Dragon. This card effects can only be applied to resolve while it has material. This card can attack your opponent directly. Your opponent can net target any Harpy monster with effects or attacks. During each of your end phases, detach one material from this card. It's a great card, provides 3 level 4 monsters, and you could easily get out 3 Harpy ladies onto the field very, very easily. Definitely worth running. We got one number 41, Baguska. It's just a great card. This all-out games, definitely worth running. One Link Spider. You do run normal monsters, so this effect does come up every now and then. One Hulk that goes into our Auroradon lines, and it gets this Baron the Floor. We got one Nightmare Cerberus, one Nightmare Phoenix, one Harpy Conductor. So this card is not the greatest, but if a Harpy monster you control would be destroyed by battle card effect, you can destroy one spell trap you control instead. And that's how you can recycle your signs. And that's one way you can get rid of your own Featherstone if you really wanted to get rid of it. We got one Simorg. Cannot be used as link material. The opponent cannot target this card or winged beast monster this card points to with card effects. If this card would be destroyed by battle, you could destroy one other Simorg card you control instead. During end phase, you could special summon one winged beast monster from your hand or deck whose level equal to or lower the number of unused spell and trap zones you control. You can bring this card out, and you can easily special out Barry's Statue of the Storm, and that stops your opponent from special summoning completely. And then if you have a Harpy on the field plus like a Harpy's Featherstorm, you have really good protection. So definitely worth running. We got one Mecha Phantom Beast, and then lastly we got one Apollosa Bow of the Goddess. And that is it for the deck. Like I said, I really did enjoy it. It's not the greatest. I do call it the worst waifu deck, but I really did enjoy it. I like Harpies. I like the play style of them a lot. If you guys like it, I hope you guys enjoy it. But yeah, I do have better decks on my profile than this. Yeah, I would probably buy something, better. But hey, to each his own. But I hope you guys all enjoy this deck list. Like I said, we'll get into the games. They're not the greatest, but yeah, I hope you all enjoy. Alright guys, so our first one is against Cyber Dragons. And I kind of misplay a lot. You're gonna see, but I really did enjoy it. So we'll go into the games here. So I activate Harpy's Queen, and I do search out Harpy's Hunting Ground. At this point, I normal summon Harpy's Lady, and I go into Alka-Iconus to get out a second Harpy's Lady. And at this point, I'm going to go into Cyber Slash. I didn't activate Harpy's Hunting Ground at this point. Feeling pretty confident. But yet again, he MSTs my Hunting Ground. I'm like, alright, that sucks. He sets one, activates Pot of Desires. At this point, I activate Harpies, and I bounce back his card. So that was his normal. And I'm feeling pretty confident that, he can't have a, too big play. He sets during passes. I'm like, alright, so I was kind of right there. I activate Harpy Seal, and at this point I do get Alka-Iconus back. And I summon, use Alka-Iconus to get out our Harpy's Lady. I Monster Reborn at this point to get out Harpy's Queen. At this point, I was trying to see if I had Auroradon line. I don't, so I'm going to link off into Lightning Shidori. Lightning Shidori's effect, I'm going to set one of these cards to the bottom, and I'm going to get in for some damage. So, like I said, feeling pretty decent, feeling pretty good. My opponent's going to draw. At this point, he normals, Valor. He's going to use his effect. He brings out Cyber Eternity Dragon. He targets it with equip card, Super Blaze? I've never seen that one before. Anyway, I bounce his card since he activated effect. Now he has nothing. He activates Cyber Repair Plant. He gets a Cyber Dragon to his hand. I'm like, alright, so he's going to special summon that. He special summons it, and he ends his turn. I don't know if something locked him out from attacking or not, and at that point, he's just going to concede. Yeah, I think I misplayed, but hey, I got the win at the end of the day. I did not expect to win against, Cyber Dragons. But yeah, you get to see what Harpies got to do. As soon as your opponent plays anything, you can easily bounce cards, that they might need on the field, and that's kind of the benefit of it. So, other than that, let's get into the next game, and I hope everybody enjoys. Alright, so this next game here is against Burning Abyss. Kind of Burning Abyss Phantom Knight. I think my opponent never played this deck before because he misplayed a lot, and so do I, and you're going to see how bad it is. I go first. I bricked. I unexpected die. At this point, I will get out a Harpy's Lady. I do Alka-Iconus at this point. get out all the Harpies later. Then I do Sion. This is my misplayed. I shouldn't have done Sign just yet. But I do get another Alchemist out. And at this point, I do get my third Harpy Lady. Instead of going to the Dragon line, I go into Cyber Slash. I should have went the Dragon. But yet again, I could be stupid. So my opponent draws. At this point, he activates Tour Guide. Tour Guide goes, gets another Tour Guide. He is now going to Super Poly, getting rid of Phantom Fog Blade, and he goes into Starving Venom. At this point, he activates his effect. He targets my card to get effect, and he's going to go very high, and he attacks. I'm like, fuck, I'm not feeling confident. This is not going well. So I have Perfumer. I activate Perfumer, and I will get a Harpy's Feather West. I use Harpy's Feather West. Target 3 cards, return them to my deck. And at this point, I am going to draw one. It is a Harpist, not the greatest. Now I get Lightning Shidori out. Lightning Shidori's effect. I am going to use this effect to reset that card. And at this point, I attack for 19. So this is not going well. I did lots of misplays already, and so is my opponent. He has another Tour Guide, and now he gets Fiendish Rhino. Then he gets the Phantom Knight's Breaksword, and he attacks over. I'm like, alright, well, this is just not going well. We're both not doing what we need to do. I do normal summon Harpist, and I do in my turn, and Harpist will get me again. I misplayed. I should have went with, instead of Oracle, played Harpist instead. He does, you know, Breaksword, pops my card. At this point, he starts kind of going off a little bit. He's setting up his graveyard with Phantom Knights, and Burning Abysses. I'm kind of getting scared. I'm not getting anything. I activate Monster Reborn. I do get Harpy Lady. Feeling okay, but not too much. I activate Alchemist. At this point, he's going to Ash Blossom. I'm like, well, that fucking sucks, but okay. Can't do anything about it. And at this point, I do normal summon Harpist, and I go into Cyber Slash. And at this point, I'm going to battle, and I do attack over his Breaksword, and then I'm going to end my turn. He has me on the hopes. Harpist effect, I do get Chandler to my hand. I'm like, alright, at least this part I'm feeling pretty good about. My opponent's going to set to Phantom Fog Blaze effect. He banishes it, and at this point he's going to normal summon Breaksword. He's going to activate Ancient Cloak, get into defense, and then he's going to end his turn. So, I do Harpy's Feather, get rid of the back row. He does Phantom Knight's Fog Blade me, but yet again, Harpy's Feather Duster's going to get rid of that. But he made a mistake because I could still chain, and I do get rid of his own Breaksword. Then he chains Shade Brigadine into special summon set. I'm like, alright, this is interesting. So his Breaksword is banished, and at this point, Harpies would get rid of the Fog Blade. I do play Chandler, get rid of one, get a Harpy's Lady, and I go into Harpy Conductor. At this point, Harpy Conductor is just there for reinsurance, just in case something happens. My opponent has no cards in hand, no cards on field, and he has nothing he can activate from the graveyard. I do get Barrier Statues to my hand for next turn, just in case. My opponent's going to activate Fog Blade. He's going to bring back Cloak, and then at that point, he concedes. So, like I said, I hope you guys all enjoyed these games. I know that looked terrible. My opponent misplayed like crazy. I misplayed like crazy. But I hope you all enjoyed and have a wonderful night. I'll catch you all next time.